I too stand here today celebrating the success story of the Endangered Species Act, seeing that the gray wolf has been fully recovered. I also stand today, Mr. Speaker, in defense of our farmers and our ranchers, just like the Farrell family in Grand County, Colorado, who has lost up to 5 of their cattle in a 10-day span in Colorado from wolves attacking their ranch in Grand County. In my home state of Colorado, out-of-touch Denver and Boulder leftists voted to reintroduce gray wolves. Since then, 10 wolves were reintroduced in December, and 8 have confirmed wolf livestock depredations and 6 separate incidents involving wolf attacks in Colorado just this month. My Trust the Science Act delists the gray wolf from the federal endangered species lists and returns the issue of the wolf management to states and tribal wildlife agencies. Again, a success story that we should be celebrating here today.
You know, Lauren Boebert drafting the Trust the Science Act definitely wasn't on my 2024 bingo card.
Rather than celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Endangered Species Act and the many species our nation's most successful conservation legislation has saved, House Republicans have relentlessly targeted the ESA and the wildlife it has protected. As co-chair of the Congressional Endangered Species Caucus, I'm deeply concerned about how House Republicans have proposed to weaken this popular, bipartisan framework that preserves our nation's rich biodiversity. Today's scheme, a bill comically and ironically named Trust the Science Act, ignores what scientists are actually recommending to preserve the gray wolf iconic species and allow them to reach adequate recovery. The protections of the ESA have allowed gray wolf populations across the country to stabilize and regain strength. But if delisted nationally, gray wolves will once again be hunted and trapped to extinction.
Throughout this Congress, my Republican colleagues have tried at every turn to weaken our bedrock environmental laws, and the Endangered Species Act has, of course, been one of their favorites to attack. Once again, Republican leadership has taken an opportunity to vilify an endangered species today here on this floor, to sacrifice it to their precious industry groups. Guns, oil, and polluters. That has come to be what the GOP stands for, at least in this Congress. Last summer, they rushed to the House floor with bills to increase the extinction risk of the lesser prairie chicken and the northern long-eared bat. Today, it is the iconic gray wolf. Do my Republican friends truly have nothing better to do with their time, with the time of this body? We should be working on issues that make a difference to everyday life in America. But this Congress has been mostly about Republicans fighting with each other in a circular firing squad, and the only time they seem to take a break from that is when they want to do something to enrich the wealthiest Americans, harm the environment, or now to kill wolves. This bill is falsely named. It's called the Trust the Science Act. And it would legislatively delist the gray wolf in the Endangered Species Act in the lower 48. That is not something that is done based on science. It is something this bill would do by political fiat. The gray wolf is one of America's most iconic species, and while it is making a comeback, the science and the facts on the ground tell us that it still needs help. This bill would make it so that not a single gray wolf in the United States, in the entire country, would be protected by the Endangered Species Act. Yes, it is true that the Yellowstone, the National Park wolf reintroduction, is one of the great success stories of the ESA. We saw that as apex predators, wolves help to rebalance and revitalize vibrant ecosystems and flourishing wildlife populations in one of the crown jewels of our national park system. The ESA has kept the wolf from going extinct. We've gone from only several hundred wild wolves in America, and these were inhabiting northern parts of Michigan and Minnesota, to approximately 7,500 wolves today, with populations in at least 11 states. That is the ESA in action. It's a great success story, but that doesn't mean that we can just unfurl a banner and declare mission accomplished. And certainly not when folks who took wolves to the brink of extinction are ready to rev up the wolf-killing machine once again and put us right back on that path to extinction.
Honestly, the Republican Party is one of the most predictable organizations on the entire planet. You know, the only thing they're ever talking about is cutting taxes and deregulating things. But of course, tax cuts for corporations and the wealthy and deregulating industries so that your water and your food is poisoned. Obviously, that doesn't really have much benefit for the everyday working man and woman. But the racism, the homophobia, you know, the fear-mongering about immigrants coming over the southern border, people living in South Dakota. You know, you got Kristi Noem talking about, oh, we got the cartels up here. Like, that's a bit out of the way, don't you think? There's not a lot of people in South Dakota. I think that markets are a bit bigger in places like California, Chicago, New York, pretty much anywhere else that isn't one of the Dakotas. You know, but that's all Republicans have. It's racism, 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 homophobia, tax cuts, deregulation, and stick it to the libs.